Somewhere Angel Reese must be in shambles over something like this because, well, all she hears is from the media, and let's basically keep it real. We hear from her.
Angel Reese believed she was the center of attention, but Caitlin Clark completely turned the script at a recent Butler game. Although Clark didn't play or dunk, fans went crazy for her.
Why?
A seemingly insignificant moment won over millions of hearts, shattering Reese's media-driven narrative.
Caitlin Clark has went real viral doing...
Join us as we reveal the viral moment that stole the show. The drama doesn't stop there. This rivalry reveals deeper truths about how fans truly feel about the so-called superstars of women's basketball. If you think this is just another sports story, think again. The numbers, the reactions, and the fans tell a completely different tale. Reese caused a social media storm and demonstrated once again why Caitlin Clark is the true fan favorite. You won't want to miss this breakdown. Let's explore the startling truth that has everyone talking.
You ever notice that how often she's talking and there's a lot of I's and me's? Me, I.
Angel Reese believed she had cemented her position as the face of women's basketball, but Caitlin Clark's most recent viral moment has completely changed the course of the conversation. It wasn't a game-winning shot, a highlight reel dunk, or even a record-breaking performance that stole the show. Rather, it was a moment so small and seemingly unimportant that it left Angel Reese and probably many of her fans wondering how star power actually works. Millions were captivated when Caitlin Clark stood courtside at a basketball game and applauded her lover. Indeed, millions.
The media, the legacy mainstream media, the sports media keeps trying to ramrod it down our throats that there are so many superstars in the WNBA. A'ja Wilson, Angel Reese, and of course we've talked about at great length on this channel how the media would keep ramrodding Angel Reese into the conversation about how the WNBA has grown.
A TikTok video of Caitlin Clark clapping without playing or speaking, just that tiny gesture, was viewed by nearly 3.5 million people. More attention was paid to Drew than to Angel Reese's whole WNBA ambassador campaign. The ramifications of this event are extensive, revealing not just the divergent dynamics between these two athletes, but also the difficulties the WNBA faces overall. Let's take a closer look. While wearing Butler merchandise and supporting her boyfriend Connor McCaffrey, who serves as the team's assistant coach, Caitlin Clark was at Butler's Arizona tip-off tournament. Her excitement for the game attracted the attention of CBS Sports, who decided to share a brief video of her on TikTok, which went viral almost immediately, receiving millions of views and countless comments. All that was shown in the video was Clark supporting her boyfriend and his squad.
Let's be honest, this league hasn't turned a profit ever. 26 years, been living off the financial teat of the NBA. And if it wasn't for the NBA, they'd long since been shut down.
This is why it's important. The moment's simplicity highlights its natural attraction. Caitlin Clark has developed a connection with millions of people that no marketing strategy could create because she wasn't trying to steal the show that day. She wasn't trying to prove anything or make a statement. She was just being herself.
Again, they keep putting Angel Reese and these other players into this narrative that they're really moving the needle, that people are really paying attention to everything that...
Compare this to Angel Reese for several months. The media has heavily marketed Reese as one of the top players in women's basketball. Her performances in the previous season's Nkala tournament were impressive, and while her boldness comes across as forced, as if she's trying too hard to sell a narrative that fans aren't fully buying, she frequently puts herself in the spotlight, which may work for some but seems to be alienating a sizable portion of the audience.
Now, Caitlin Clark recently, of course, played golf, and that drew a lot of attention. But I got to be honest with you. I saw this and was like, my mouth dropped. I couldn't believe it. Because, well, Caitlin Clark has went real viral doing one of the most benign things you could possibly think about doing, which is standing.
The data clearly illustrates the situation. While Reese finds it difficult to stay relevant, Clark's impact is still growing. It goes beyond basketball to include cultural significance. While Reese's media-driven image seems more and more out of touch, Clark has harnessed something far bigger than the sport itself. Her ability to really connect with fans has made her a household brand. Remembering the larger context despite the NBA's substantial investment and support, the WNBA, which is in its 26th year, has yet to make a profit. The league has had difficulty gaining widespread recognition. Players like AJ Wilson and Angel Reese have been positioned as its faces, but their influence has been minimal, while Caitlin Clark, who hasn't even made the full transition to the professional ranks, is already outperforming them. This is more than a coincidence. It serves as a warning. The NBA's marketing approach is seriously faulty. Rather than imposing stories that people obviously don't connect with, the organization should embrace honesty. Caitlin Clark exemplifies authenticity by letting her deeds both on and off the court speak for themselves rather than depending on dramatic declarations or created controversy to remain current.
Her boyfriend, Connor McCaffrey, is a coach for Butler, the basketball team in the NCAA. And, of course, as you can imagine, her and her parents were there supporting McCaffrey. Well, she has went super viral on video, standing and clapping.
Action fans were enthralled with Clark's presence at the Butler game. Her impassioned cheers and sincere enthusiasm produced a moment that felt real, which is what fans desire. Clark wasn't simply a spectator. She was the main attraction. Genuineness, relatability, and bonding at the game of Butler fans weren't paying attention to the players or the score because Clark was the major attraction. Instead, they were enthralled by her presence. Her enthusiastic cheers and sincere excitement produced an authentic moment, which is what fans want. Genuineness, relatability, and bonding. Conversely, Angel Reese frequently comes across as performative. Her self-promotional media appearances and social media posts create a persona that feels more like a brand than a real person. While that strategy could be effective in some industries, it doesn't translate well in sports, where fans demand authenticity above all else. But let's step back and look at the WNBA's role in this dynamic. For years, the league has been searching desperately for a breakout star who can raise its profile. They've attempted to use players like REES'S as the league's faces, but the results have been disappointing. Some people argue that the reason the WNBA hasn't completely embraced Caitlin Clark is because her ascent exposes the shortcomings of the league's present stars, even though she isn't a member yet and has already demonstrated that she has the star power they seek. The WNBA, which is already having trouble staying afloat in the cutthroat world of professional sports, would face a challenging dynamic if it promoted Clark as its star player. This would unintentionally highlight the fact that players like Reese haven't been able to attain the same level of influence. The recent instance of Clark's ability to captivate the public's attention is the viral moment at the Butler game. It's not just about the numbers. It's also about the narrative that lies behind them. She is a star because millions of people connected with her when they saw a video of her clapping. They saw someone who is real, relatable, and easy to support. Meanwhile, Angel Reese is forced to face the fact that media buzz can only get you so far. Fans are able to see past the created tales and forced identities, and they want someone who feels authentic and present. In spades, Caitlin Clark is demonstrating that the rivalry between Reese and Clark is more than just a personality clash. Rather, it is a representation of the greater problems that women's basketball is experiencing. The sport is at a turning point, and the choices made now will have a long-term effect on its future. The WNBA can benefit from the momentum generated by Clark's ascent, but only if they're prepared to change strategy after the fallout from this viral event subsides. Angel Reese finds it difficult to accept that Caitlin Clark is changing the NAR natives' perspective on women's basketball in addition to gaining admirers' attention. The rivalry between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese has sparked conversations about topics well beyond the basketball court, including the future of women's sports, media narratives, and the dynamics of authenticity. What began as a widely shared video of Clark clapping during a Butler game has grown to represent a greater issue: the significant difference in how fans view these two players and the wider ramifications for the WNBA. Angel Reese, who was once heralded as the next big thing in women's basketball, must be wondering where it all went wrong because, despite constant media attention and a fearless, outspoken persona, she is constantly overshadowed by Caitlin Clark's effortless ability to draw attention to herself. It's not just about their performances, though. It's about how they interact with fans. Let's go back to that viral TikTok clip of Caitlin Clark standing courtside and clapping. It wasn't staged or planned. Rather, it was a sincere show of support for her boyfriend Connor McCaffrey, and his team fans saw that sincerity and responded in droves. What sets Clark apart from Reese is this type of natural influence, whereas Reese mainly depends on media narratives to be visible. Audiences respond well to Clark's acts. She doesn't require a marketing crew to tell her tale. Her story speaks for itself. Despite her amazing basketball abilities and self-assured demeanor, Angel Reese is finding it difficult to connect with fans, just as her incessant self-promotion and media-driven image feel forced, creating a disconnect that is difficult to overcome due to the NBA's reluctance to fully accept Caitlin Clark draws attention to a more serious problem in the league. For years, the WNBA has had difficulty becoming well-known and making its players household names. Although players like AIA Wilson and Angel Reese have been positioned as the league's faces, their influence has been little. However, the WNBA appears hesitant to fully support Caitlin Clark, despite the fact that she has demonstrated that she has the star power the league sorely needs. Her ability to create buzz and attract millions of viewers, even for something as simple as clapping, demonstrates her potential as a cultural icon. Some argue that this is because Clark's rise highlights the flaws in the league's current marketing strategy. By making Clark the league's main attraction, the WNBA would unintentionally highlight the fact that other players haven't been able to achieve the same level of influence, which creates a tricky situation. The plain fact is that this competition is dynamic for a league that is already having trouble staying afloat. Fans cherish genuineness. People want to support Caitlin Clark because of her genuine excitement for the game, personable demeanor, and effortless way of embodying genuineness in her interactions with fans. Conversely, Angel Reese frequently comes across as performative. Her self-promotional media appearances and social media posts create a persona that feels more like a brand than a real person. While that strategy could be effective in some industries, it doesn't resonate in sports, where fans value connection and honesty. This difference was evident at the Butler game. Clark wasn't just a spectator. She was the crowd's emotional lifeblood. Her enthusiastic applause and encouraging demeanor made it feel like real fans were experiencing a connection with someone who genuinely loved the game, not just watching a basketball game. The rivalry between Reese and Clark isn't just a personal feud. Rather, it's a reflection of the larger issues facing women's basketball, which is at a turning point in its history, and the WNBA needs to draw in new players, make money, and make its players famous in the community. Caitlin Clark presents a special chance to fulfill those objectives. Clark is a once-in-a-generation talent due to her ability to connect with fans both on and off the court, but realizing her potential will require a change in approach. The WNBA must abandon forced narratives and concentrate on promoting players who connect with audiences, which entails embracing authenticity, celebrating individuality, and producing moments that feel authentically angelic. Reese, on the other hand, will have to reconsider her strategy and look for methods to engage with fans more deeply in order to remain relevant. Reese needs to concentrate if she wants to regain the spotlight because her current approach of depending on media hype and self-promotion isn't working. Focus more on her game and less on her appearance. More than just a headline, the Butler game's viral moment serves as a wake-up call and a warning that genuine star power must be earned rather than bought. With each viral moment, fan interaction, and game she attends for Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark is demonstrating that this is a turning point in the game. The fans have spoken and are choosing genuineness over hype. If the WNBA doesn't change its strategy, they run the risk of offending the very audience they're attempting to draw in as this rivalry develops. One thing is certain, Caitlin Clark is winning fans' hearts in addition to games, and that is a triumph that no advertising effort can produce.